Hi, today we're going to talk about one of those nuanced topics that I don't see a lot of people talking about. We're going to talk about why empathy, in my opinion, is truly a superpower, a hidden superpower that a lot of people have. Now, people usually know as empathy as the ability to understand, share, and respond to the feelings and perspectives of others. That's the clinical definition of empathy or whatever. But the way that I see it is like this. The biggest things that make you different from somebody else, no matter who it is in this world, are things that were completely out of your control. Your genetics, your early experiences, the country that you were born in, the family that you were born in, the people you were exposed to earlier in your life, all have the biggest impact of who you are and where you are in life right now than anything that you had any control over. Even behavioral things are genetic. Things like not being lazy or being really smart or even promiscuity all have genetic components to it. Prior events, experiences, genetics, brain chemistry predict your future choices no matter how random you try to make them. Even something as small as hunger affects your decision making. There is a study done about it's called the hungry judge effect, where the biggest predictor of harsh sentencing is the last time the judge ate. So if you got a sentencing before lunch, on average your sentencing would have been a lot worse than if you got a sentencing after lunch. So even things that you think are completely in your control and have someone else's life in your hands are usually not in your control. So if you were born with someone else's genetic makeup and early experiences and circumstances, you'd probably be acting the same way that they were. And you'd be doing the same things that they are. Bottom line is, we're all doing what we think is best for us to do with the tools that we currently have, with the information that we are given. And understanding that and putting yourself in someone else's shoes and realizing that if you were given the same rolls of dice that they were given in life, you would be acting the same way is what I define as empathy. So, why is empathy so good to have, in my opinion? First of all, biology tells us empathy is really important. Animals in all walks of life are very cooperative, whether it's symbiotic species of different species working together to accomplish something in a symbiotic relationship, or whether it's within a species, altruism it's called in biology, where animals even risk their own lives for close relatives to live and survive. And we know that humans are the most collaborative species of all. That's why we have all of this. That's why I'm talking to you right now. So being collaborative is very important, and empathy is a big part of that. Next, number 2. Empathy helps you understand and be curious instead of being judgmental and getting angry. So there's a certain peace that comes with true understanding and taking to heart of empathy. And this peace comes when you accept that people are acting the way that they're acting because of a reason that you probably don't know. There's a reason for every behavior that a person has, and instead of getting angry, like, why would this person do this, or judging them and like just not understanding it, you can be curious about it. And if you really care, you can seek to understand it, or you can just move along with your life. There's a certain peace that comes when you realize that behind every behavior, there's a reason. And you don't have to understand it. If you really care about the person, you can, but you don't have to, and you can just move along and not get so angry out of it. Number 3, empathy is a huge hidden advantage in leadership and influence. When a leader is empathetic, they understand the people that they're trying to lead much better. And when someone feels their emotions are being heard, they are more likely to listen to you. If you truly understand someone's fears, motivations, You can better guide and support them and inspire them. It's leaders with higher emotional intelligence are more likely to succeed. That's just a fact. And lastly, true empathy allows us to build deeper and more meaningful connections and relationships, since one of the basic human needs are to be heard and noticed and understood. Social relationships are one of, if not the most important things in our lives. Being a non-judgmental, empathetic person allows others to be more authentically themselves around you. So if you judge someone over and over again to their face, they're not going to confide in you. You see this especially with parents. If your parents keep giving you shit about stuff, you're not going to tell them things. It's just that simple. But if you're kind to them and you seek to understand people, they are more likely to confide in you, and therefore your relationship's more likely to flourish. People have an inherent need of being heard, noticed, and understood. That's why the opposite of love is indifference and not hate. Love and hate are very close to each other. That's why people keep breaking up and getting back together over and over again in a toxic relationship, and hating and loving each other one day after another. The true opposite of love is indifference. If you really think about it, it would be worse if your significant other simply didn't care than if they were mad at you. If you did something bad and they gave you shit for it, it's much better that they gave you shit for it than if they were like, whatever, and they just didn't care. Because when they get angry at you, you know that they care. At the very least, it affected them in some way. So being heard and noticed is a huge, huge thing for us. And a relationship is basically a kindness transaction. It's endearment and kindness being given, received, explicitly wanted, and explicitly accepted. So you have to be very explicit about how you're not being seen, or thank you for seeing me, thank you for noticing me. And you have to be very explicit with how you give kindness, especially in unconditional ways. Really appreciating the person for things that are in their control and not just calling them hot or something that they were genetically given. So being empathetic is huge in your relationships. If you want better, more authentic, long-lasting relationships, you have to learn to truly put yourself in someone else's shoes and try to feel how they feel as much as possible, and then try to react to them and understand them and deal with them the best way possible. Thank you for watching.